Oh, my friend, if you have ever tried to do all of the right things, to drink the green juice, to get up at 5 a.m. and do the workout, to take 13 different vitamins every single day, and yet somehow you still end up feeling exhausted, bloated, tired, and just kind of overall annoyed at the health and wellness industry, all I can say is same. That is why today I'm going to share with you some of the healthy habits and things that I just don't do anymore. No, thank you. I'm not doing these. What I do instead, that has worked for me. That's a key piece, that this has actually worked for me, to do less. As with most things in life, and especially these days with social media, I feel like things get too complicated and everybody wants to have their own new spin on something and their own way of doing something, their own method, which ends up being just very noisy and, again, overcomplicating things unnecessarily. Simplicity is our friend in almost every area of life, definitely in health and wellness. It doesn't have to be as hard as we make it. It doesn't have to be as complicated as we make it. And as it turns out, what I needed was just to do less, but smarter. I've said it about 1,000,000 times, but I feel like I have to just go ahead and put this out there up front. For me, intermittent fasting has been a lifesaver. It has really helped me to simplify things without overcomplicating anything, especially when it comes to what I'm eating. Giving myself simple time windows has been the very best thing. I've done a couple other videos talking about intermittent fasting, so I don't want to go into a bunch of details here. I'll link to those videos down below in the description box. Instead of worrying about what am I eating at every single meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between, I'm only focusing on what I'm eating during my eating window, which really helps to simplify things. I love a good vitamin. I have tried many over the years. I mean, my husband has a cabinet full of all of this different stuff that he takes. It can be very tempting, especially because I'm he's very fit and, he's strong and maybe I should do what he's doing. And it can be easy to see people putting out their regimen of vitamins and stuff all the time. For me, I know that I will not keep up with that. That is a habit that's just not going to stick. I might do it for a time, but it's too much and it's cumbersome. And so I will not be consistent with it. So if you're like me, then what you need is something that is simple so that I can be consistent. That is going to give me the best results in the long run. And that is where, as you've heard me talk about many times, my very favorite comprehensive superfood gummy bear genius deliciousness comes in, and that is Groons. You get 8 of these delicious gummies in one package, so they are very convenient. I can drop these in my purse. I can always have a package available if I'm out and about. It's easy to take with me. But the most important thing is that these are not a multivitamin. They're not a greens gummy or a probiotic gummy. They're all of that and then some in this one little convenient package. If you're a mom who likes to maybe steal a few kids' fruit snacks, then you're really gonna love these because they taste amazing. There's 8 in here because they cannot pack everything that they pack into just one gummy chewable. So you get 8, which makes it almost like a little special treat during the day as well. They support your gut health, energy, immunity, recovery, beauty, cognition, all of it packaged into one. My personal favorite that really makes these a must-have for me and why I do not miss a day taking them is their help in the digestion area. I know that that's a little taboo, especially ladies. We don't like to talk about that. And these help so much, not just with reducing food cravings and keeping my energy levels up throughout the day, but they help a lot with digestion. They help to make sure that you have regular bowel movements. Again, I know, a little taboo, but they wrote a children's book called Everybody Poops for a reason, okay? The Groons blend of prebiotics, vitamins, minerals, and adaptogens actually support your cells and the gut microbiome, immune system, and your stress resilience, which all in all provides you all of those amazing benefits that you actually feel on the outside. That's what it's doing on the inside. You feel it on the outside with energy, craving, control, regular bowel movements, and all of that. I've been talking about Groons for a while now because I just love these so much. I genuinely look forward to taking them every single day. I love the results that I get from taking these, and I feel like they've really helped. And for what it's worth, they are also eligible for FSA and HSA reimbursement if you want to help get your vitamins covered. If you want to try Groons for yourself, you can get up to 52% off if you use my link. It'll be down below in the description box. I love them, and I really think that you will too. The next thing I stopped doing was forcing intense workouts, adding in some various things like walking, but I've added something new to my walking routine, and this has been kind of amazing. I added a weighted vest. And I have been so surprised by how much more intense just walking feels. So if you feel like for whatever reason that there's other workouts you can't do, or walking is just something that's really easy for you to get in, so therefore you know you'll be consistent. Because again, we're talking about simplicity for the sake of consistency. That is really what you can build from there if you want to add more later. But I am the kind of person that I need to have no excuse to not do it, right? If it's simple, I have no excuse. So walking is so important. There's just all kinds of research studies that talk about the benefits of steps and walking. So it doesn't have to be overwhelming or intense. And also that's free. Walking is free. Now, the weighted vest isn't free, but it's also not terribly expensive. And it's just super easy to put on, and off you go, away you go. Even just walking around our like bridle path and little trails behind our house where we walk our horses sometimes. And when I go walking with my kids, my younger kids who like to go for little trail walks and look for birds and stuff, just popping on my weighted vest immediately levels up that walk to something more intense than just a regular walk and stroll. I felt like, is that actually going to do anything? Is it actually going to make a difference? And since the start of the year, I've probably lost about that last like 10-ish pounds. I don't weigh myself super frequently. I kind of go by how my clothes are fitting, but I feel like I'm shedding some of the winter layers that I didn't necessarily love to have. So I feel like a lot of us would like to get in better shape for spring and summer. I wasn't sure if adding the weighted vest was actually going to do much. I've seen it work for me, so it's been very beneficial. Much better than forcing myself to do workouts that I don't enjoy because they're intense and I have to have intensity in order for it to work. That's just not true. The next thing I stopped was worrying so much about drinking a gallon or more of water a day. If you've ever been a part of any kind of a weight loss group or program, I feel like the push to drink a ton of water is crazy. And that it's hard. It can be hard depending on, there are days where it's easy. If I'm working outside in the garden and doing other things, it's easy for me to chug water. But if I'm not, it's much harder for me to do that. We can put all this pressure on ourselves. I've bought all the cups with like the time things. The other problem is, hello, I've had 4 children, including a set of twins, and I will have to pee all day long, constantly. Don't have time to pee every 30 minutes. I have found that not stressing about like chugging water, drinking that gallon of water every single day, and instead of that, I've been focusing on drinking water every day, making sure that I am drinking water. When I'm done with my coffee, I switch to water. It's not like I drink a bunch of sodas or anything else. I drink coffee and water, basically. And I've been adding in, I still have my liquid IVs and I still like those, but I told y'all before about the LMNT electrolyte drink mix. And this one I was very excited about trying, and I really like these. So these have 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. These help me to feel hydrated very quickly. There's no sugar in these. Now you can get liquid IV that is sugar-free. These have no sugar in them. So I like them both, but hydration multipliers and electrolyte mixes have been a much better option for me than trying to just like chug down gallons of water. Everybody's like constitution about water is a little different. Some people have no problem chugging water and they just do it by nature of who they are, and others, we struggle. And I'm one who struggles on days when I'm not outside doing manual labor work kind of things. We talk a lot about my sugar monster. So one of the things that I quit doing was putting stress on myself to cut out entire food groups. I've spoken many times before about like, I'm not somebody who's going to cut out all carbohydrates. It's never going to happen. I love bread. I will tell you that switching to making your own bread helps immensely when it comes to what kind of reactions and how you might feel, how your gut might feel after bread. Look into that if you've never done it. Sourdough, obviously being like the supreme, but then you've got to raise a sourdough starter and baby it. It's like having a child sometimes. Just making your own bread at home, even if it's not sourdough, is still feel so much easier on your gut than store-bought bread full of all the preservatives. I've got a recipe, my favorite sandwich bread recipe. If you want to try it, I'll link it down below. It's free. I love to make sandwich bread. My family loves it. And I've spent a long time trying to figure out like the perfect sandwich bread recipe so that it actually looks like sandwich bread. Focusing on protein and things like that, but not saying even sugar. I've decided not to say no sugar. For me, no sugar is no joy, and that is unrealistic. I've tried to keep my sugar to a much more minimum amount and pay attention to where there is hidden sugar. That's been the biggest thing for me, focusing on where is there hidden sugar in what I'm eating. I can know, obviously, if I'm busting open a friggin' Butterfinger, I know that I'm about to pound an ungodly amount of sugar. But the worst is when you consume a lot of sugar unknowingly and you feel like you're chugging along doing great and really cutting back your sugar, and then you start to have the sugar cravings and reactions because you've consumed sugar without necessarily realizing it. Adding in that level of awareness of saying, I'm not going to cut out a food group. Instead, I'm going to focus on being aware of when I'm eating it, how much I'm eating, and also where is it hiding in other things that I'm eating, because it seems as though almost everything that you find at the grocery store has sugar in it. Not everything. I'm being a little hyperbolic. If you've taken the time to look, you'll know what I mean. There's sugar in so many things that you're like, it's not even sweet. Nope, but there is sugar in it. Another thing I've quit over the years is keeping track of everything I eat. I only did that for a short time. I very quickly realized that that was just not functional for me. Trying to track what I'm eating, it forces me to think too much about it. It puts it in an unnecessarily high place in my priority list in life. And if you're trying to just feel good and be healthy and move your body and eat better, I find, again, simplicity. Tracking calories, tracking points, or tracking every little thing I eat is forcing me to put more thought into it than I want, which is then putting it to the forefront of my brain constantly. If you've ever struggled with a little bit of disordered eating and things, then you kind of know that it's much easier to figure out a way to stay within the boundaries you've set without making it something you're constantly having to think about and address, but focusing more on, in my eating window, eating lots of protein specifically and making better choices. I've been working on some more recipes. I shared some really good, like, high protein snacks and some other recipes with y'all in a previous video. And I've come up with another ebook that is my favorite high protein. Every recipe in the ebook is 30 grams of protein or more, and they are so good. They're nothing weird. It's like, it's good stuff that you're really, really gonna like, with a focus on making sure you're getting lots of protein. It can become a job. Like, my husband is like, eats, I don't even know, like 200 grams of protein a day or something ridiculous like that. It's almost become like a full-time job for him to worry about where he's getting protein and how much he's getting. And I just cannot allow myself to put that much focus on it. So instead, I try to make sure that in prepping for food, I'm making sure that, like, prepping what I'm going to eat that week and meals and stuff, I just focus on making sure the meals have a lot of protein. And then I eat as much or as little as I want of the food when I actually make it. And I don't stress about it beyond that. Being more cognizant of how the things that you're eating make you feel afterwards. Is this something that makes you feel energized and ready to keep going in your day? Is it something that makes you feel sluggy and tired and like, oh boy, now I need a nap at 2 o'clock, or I need another cup of coffee, or I feel like a burst of energy that then crashes? Like, paying attention to how the foods we're consuming are making us feel is a much better way to get an indicator of, like, kind of what's going on, at least for me. Another thing I stopped doing was chasing trends. And you would be surprised, maybe or maybe not, with how many trending foods and vitamins and just all kinds of things are out there. There's so much that I see people taking and then they, like, swear by it. And I'm like, okay, well, and I got to switch to that and I need that. That's why I'm telling you, I mean, the Grooms, these have been with me for probably 6 or 7 months now. I just am like, this is it. This is the main thing I'm going to worry about. I have other things that I like from time to time and that I like to add in here and there when I'm feeling a certain way, like an extra iron supplement. That's really, like, very situational for me, and it's not common. This is what I make sure that I take every single day, without fail, no matter what. And then I can just kind of, whew, all right, that's done. It's embarrassing the amount of, like, powders and various things that I have in my pantry. And again, I'm very grateful that my husband likes to take a lot of this stuff. So anything that I've purchased that I am like, it's too much, I can't worry about that, he's bound to take it. It hasn't gone to waste. Not getting so wrapped up in the trending things, what everybody's taking, this new supplement, this new thing. I'm just as guilty as anybody. I mean, I have a bottle of methylene blue sitting right here because I heard so many great things about it. And then I ordered it, and like a week later, other stuff started popping up that was like, no, this is actually not good. So now I'm back to the drawing board on that one. That's not like a nutritional supplement like this. It's like for your brain. But now I'm like not sure if I'm going to take that in the future. I have to dig a little bit more into that. But that's what ends up happening with the trending things. You see something and you're like, oh, I should take that. That sounds amazing. And then it just ends up becomes another thing to think about and add in. Simplicity for me has been the only way to like really move forward and actually build habits that stick, is to keep them very simple. And that kind of brings me to the last one, a struggle many of us face no matter what in many different areas, but in health and wellness, I feel like it's especially pervasive. And that is comparing yourself, your health, your wellness journey to what you're seeing online, what you're seeing other people do now in the age of the weight loss shots and things. It's almost impossible to know how somebody is actually, like, what are they actually doing? It would be so easy, especially now that that medication can be purchased online in various forms, but they might have a lot of help from a medication. That's something just to be mindful of. I've got 8 children to raise. I want to see them all get married and have kids. I want to live long for all of that. I want to be a super involved grandmother when the time comes. I don't want to taper off, if you will. So for me, feeling good and keeping my health up is a priority. But I also don't want to become obsessed about it or obsessive about it either. I don't really want it to take over my whole life. I'm not looking to live forever. I don't need to have my head frozen and brought back later. Like, I'm good. Once was enough. I'm good. The goal is not to be perfect. It's to feel good. It's to be well, both internally and externally. Beyond that, the chasing of perfection in this arena is just like any other. You're set up for failure. Perfection does not exist. Feeling well, being well, those are the things that matter the most. That means keeping it simple and something I can actually sustain and be consistent with. And maybe that will be the thing that will help you as well. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe if you've not already, and I will see you again very soon.